The dynasty has officially come to an end. OpTic Gaming have announced that Methodz and Octane will be joining alongside Crimsix and Scump in the starting lineup. Octane comes from a trade involving Formal and Luminosity Gaming, while Methodz comes from a contract buyout from Rise Nation. It seems as if Team Caliber failed to fully buy out Method's contract when Rise sold him originally to Team Caliber, and obviously Rise later sells it to OG. Which means, obviously, that Rise Nation got full control over him yet again, and OpTic obviously said bought it out. Originally, it was in hopes to pursue Zuma and trade Methodz for Zuma in that case to FaZe, and in which case, obviously, that did not work out. Earlier, a rumored trade was brought up that John would be going to OpTic. Would it be for Karma? Would it involve Karma and Formal for John and Octane? Only rumors, obviously. Nothing solidified. It's just really a matter of what you really think could have happened. Nothing for sure. And then earlier than that, it was discussed that OpTic were going to even try to make an effort to pick up Gunless from Rise Nation. I also heard, and apparently this wasn't the case, but after the FaZe trade involving Zuma didn't go through, they actually attempted to add Karma back, but he ended up refusing. So we'll have to talk more on the original, or the new team rather, in just a few moments, but I really want to talk about the achievements and just overall the dynasty. It is the most historic, it is the greatest dynasty in Call of Duty history. You can argue about complexity, I get that. However, I deem complexity as the most dominant dynasty of all time. I consider OpTic to overall be the very best. So let's go and talk about a little bit of the dynasty's numbers as far as their placements from title to title. And this is including Nade Shot. It's the dynasty, right? It still counts. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, just Karma. What's like Formal leaves the team, Nade Shot the original team. It's the original three, essentially. That has now split apart with Formal obviously leaving the squad. But Advanced Warfare, their average placement was a 1.71 Black Ops 3 average placement. Fourth, Infinite Warfare average placement. Third, the Jetpack era average for this OpTic Gaming dynasty was a 2.62. Over 3 years, over 3 different titles, this squad averaged an average placement of 2.62 with 17 total major championships of OpTic's entire organization of 22. The OpTic Gaming dynasty has grabbed 77% of OpTic Gaming's overall wins, whether you look back at the old titles, Black Ops 1, if you want to include Ghost, like, I mean, really whatever title you want to do, 77% of OpTic Gaming's championships as an organization have came from the dynasty. And as far as World War II, right, we talk about the Jetpack era average, 2.62. World War II average placement, 7.17. Nearly 4 years together. OpTic Gaming's win, right? OpTic Gaming's final championship was the perfect storybook ending to the Jetpack era. A story of a team who was built up to win championships, however failed to do so year after year, but finally ended up doing so. I remember in one of the earliest interviews after OpTic Champs, or after the Call of Duty Championship, excuse me, 2015, back in Advanced Warfare, Crimsix said, you know what, these championships, they're nice, right? They're nice, but all we're looking forward to, our entire mindset this year is solely set on winning the title, winning the title. That was the biggest storyline in Call of Duty history, was OpTic Gaming searching for their championship. There was a moment in IW, and I can't remember who exactly said it, but someone credible was saying, this roster, it's not possible for them to split. It's never going to happen. How do you even make a change with this team? But as, you know, many people have said, all good things must come to an end. And after getting their title and closing out, like I said, without question to me, the greatest storyline in Call of Duty history, stretching back nearly 4 years of a storyline, you can't blame them for being complacent at the least at the beginning of a title. At the beginning of World War II, being a tad complacent and not really wanting, and I'm not even saying that it's okay for them not to practice. I'm not saying it's okay to not give an effort. But after waking up each morning, right, for 3+ years and thinking, we don't have the title yet. This is the biggest moment of my career. We have to win the title. Best dynasty of all time has to win a title. Do we have what it takes? Are we good enough? Am I good enough? Is it meant to be? Am I wasting my time? Now the question remains, what else do we have to achieve? And the answer is finally, nothing. There is nothing more that this team has left to do. Everything has been checked off the to-do list. Everything has been accomplished. There is nothing more that this OpTic Gaming dynasty can do that they haven't already done. And that's why I've always said OpTic Gaming winning champs is the best/worst thing to ever happen to them. It's the worst/best thing to ever happen to this team. And obviously in their final shot at it, it was a make or break. I guarantee you they were splitting if they didn't win, so I kind of understand. But normally, right, and in general, this was the best/worst thing that could happen. Best because, well, obviously, they win the championship. The best storyline is put to a close. OpTic Gaming's dynasty is cemented as the greatest of all time. As far as the reason why it's not the greatest is because it sets in complacency with their future. It sets in complacency because they weren't as hungry, and they didn't just make it to the top of the mountain, right? They became permanent owners of the property at the top of the mountain, and they deserve it, right? They become permanent owners of that landscape. It's a matter of, you know, getting to the top. It's all about the grind, right? Everyone's favorite moments is, you know, when you're trying to get to the top. That's the greatest part. When you're there, that's when you have time to relax. And OpTic Gaming finally got there, and they started to relax. They started to get complacent heading into World War II. And like I said, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't be that way? But now with this change and with how it was done, it is set up for another chapter. And the next chapter, essentially, at least has to start off with Formal versus OpTic. Like I said, at least for now, it could change, obviously. But in the Vision episode, Scump and Crim6 sat down and talked fairly in depth about the team. And it was real. It was incredibly organic, and they really just let them talk. They broke down exactly from their perspective what occurred with the team, what was going down. They spoke on their internal problems and how they've had issues for like the last few years now. And they said that the team has had issues ever since they lost Black Ops 3 champs, which of course was in the round 11, game 5 loss to Cloud9, of course, aches, back-to-back years knocking on OpTic Gaming. And they also said the only thing holding them together was winning. That was the only thing that was keeping this team afloat. That was the only thing that was advancing them into tournament after tournament after tournament, was the feeling of victory. And personal arguments, obviously, apparently to them, really took hold and brought the morale down. Players weren't showing up even for headshots before events heading into World War II. This is, I believe, during World War II. Players weren't showing up for headshots before events. They were even scrimming. This is according to, of course, Scump and Crim6 and Vision. They were even scrimming with Nameless and TP, because what they mentioned, that Scump, Crim6, and Karma were the only ones showing up. Hex also mentioned in the video, until the other day when the new roster formed, that this was the first time in 2 years, the team had sat down for dinner with each other. The first time the entire team had sat together for dinner, in the first time in 2 years. That is absolutely absurd. If that doesn't scream internal problems, I don't know what does. And it goes to show how important this change is to OpTic Gaming and the entire Call of Duty community, because for God's sake, Vision had more viewers than the grand finals of CWL Seattle. But winning titles clearly, by the words I hear them say, put a bandage over the permanent wound that OpTic Gaming had. The internal problems that were consistently going on. Winning championships was nice, right? It only put a little bit of an advancement. It never fully recovered. It never fully could change the slandering, the lack of communication, the lack of chemistry, day after day after day. And this could not be more accurate in OpTic's case so far throughout World War II. This exact quote, and I've been seeing a lot of people posting on Reddit, a lot of people on Twitter as well, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's exactly what OpTic Gaming was going through. They weren't working hard. They weren't practicing. They weren't even going over Search and Destroy. I think Scump said as well in the video, we haven't worked on Search and Destroy so far throughout World War II. So now I'm going to go back and what I said leading into talking about Vision and saying the new rivalry is set upon us to be Formal versus OpTic, because both Karma and Formal didn't get a chance to even speak in this episode of Vision at all. Formal tweeted how he wanted to tell his side of the story, which is absolutely possible, right? But I want to see this be done on the sticks. And as it may, I want to see them have conversations in the game itself. I don't even want to see Formal on the podcast. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see them deal this out. I want to see them duel it out on the sticks. I want to see them do it in-game. And Mavid has said it. A lot of analysts have as well. Formal is a scary man to face off against when he's mad, when he's motivated. He's got the fire. And he wants everyone to know that he's not the reason why the team saw, or that he's the reason why the team saw success and why they will not have success without him. But to me, without question, this exact change, Formal leaving OpTic Gaming, is what the COD scene needed. It needed another storyline. It needs something to drive it. This change wasn't just needed, rather, but necessary. But getting back to, of course, we talk about formal, got to obviously translate to karma. Man, this was hard. I'm not going to lie. This was so hard to read. But on Karma's stream, he officially announced that this was not set on Vision, that he's officially taking a break for the rest of the title. Someone ended up posting on Reddit a transcript from his stream, and everything that he says, man, is a real tearjerker. And I'm going to read a few of the quotes that are from this, and I'm not going to lie, it's pretty hard to read, to be real. It's almost as if, like, Karma has died, which obviously is not the case. But it's like, it's that, like, depressing that it's like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on with this team? What is going on with Karma? But these are a few quotes. This is one of them. For the first time in 10 years, I am not going to play for the rest of the season. I'm not mad right now. I'm just pretty sad. Playing with two people who hate each other and one who lags. Why would I want to play? But it will be better. It already is better. I haven't had a laugh like I've had in the past couple days, like the past 3 years. Listen, if I don't play a COD again, you blank better learn how to play the game right. Use your brain. Don't be that guy. Don't be that fan. And if Vonderhard doesn't name a game or a gun after me, I'm ticked. He said a different word, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that. In that excerpt, you really see how broken down he is. Like, you can just tell the tone of Karma, but you also still see the character, the funny guy that Karma is as well. But it really does tug at you if you're a fan of Call of Duty Esports. And he also later says in this as well, this very well could be the end of Karma's career, but also says the scary part, and this is an exact quote from Karma, scary part is not many people come back from a break. And after the years that Karma went through, being a 2-time world championship, coming into the OpTic Gaming dynasty, and after winning every single event, getting the short end, being told he wasn't good enough, the pressure he was under was different than the others. He wanted to continue his legacy, but Karma's pressure was from the slander of the community, not the pressure of winning a championship, because of course he wanted it. But even in the final, I think it was the final interview after they won champs, he's like, I wanted to get this for Scump. I wanted to get this for Formal. I wanted to get this for Crim6. I've already won championships. I know what this is like. This is my third one. I've done it more than anyone. But this is not what it's about for me. I wanted to prove that I was good enough, rather keep adding to my legacy, like I said. So, but at this point, I even mentioned this in the original roster rumor video, talked by OpTic Gaming, is who wouldn't want a break / need a break? I just really hope this isn't the end of Karma. I hope that this is just a break, but without question, a man who's been involved with all 3 top Call of Duty dynasties, who's won with all 3, and is without question, to me, one of the first names that you have to think of when you talk about a Mount Rushmore of Call of Duty Esports. He's got to be on that. He's got to be on the mountain. So now, obviously, talk about the old, which is kind of weird to say, OpTic Gaming dynasty. I want to get back to the change it's obviously made, adding Octane and Methodz. Now, I think this is a good team. I really do. I think this is a pretty good team. It wouldn't surprise me really what happens with this roster, whether they immediately have success or if they immediately start to kind of come out slow for the first event or so. But I think this is really going to be a large testing period for Methodz especially. He knows, OpTic knows, he wasn't the original choice. Apparently, he was the third choice, at least what they said in the video. But just purely based off of roles, he's been, a standout player this year, but it could be title-based. It definitely could. But going back to roles quickly, you have 3 guys, 2 most recently in Octane and Methodz, who have all played the main AR role throughout World War II. So how is that going to kind of translate? It could be a positive, but it also very much could be a negative. I think Methodz and Octane immediately bring a fresh presence to this team. It's new faces, it's new voices who all want to play well. I know Search and Destroy, and clearly, according to Scump in the video, they haven't even been practicing it. It's been a huge issue for OG in the past, and I think if they can improve on that and have Methodz play well as a flex, along with Crim6 and Scum and their SMG roles, playing motivated and playing at their peak, I don't see how this team can't be a champs contender. I don't see this team can't be in at least talks about winning a title so far throughout this year. However, it is new. It will only get easier as far as chemistry is considered. And they've also got 2 guys who've won in this game, right? Octane and Methodz have both won in this title, and they know what it means to work for a championship. So as far as the roles are considered, I think this is what we're going to see for the current meta. Octane running the main AR, Methodz running the flex, and Crim6 and Scump both rocking the SMGs. Of course, depending on the roles, SMGs could obviously switch, whether Scump wants to play aggro again or if he wants to kind of focus on the objective. That obviously will remain to be seen. But And I want to get back quickly before we close out this segment. Talk about Octane very fast. I think Octane has the potential to really be the next great. Essentially, we talk about your JCaps, your Karmas, really the entire old OpTic Gaming dynasty. He has the potential, to me, to really be the next one, the next guy who we talk about for years to come, even talking about his career as he's playing in it, he's been showing his skills at being a top 3 AR for the past 4 years now. I mean, even since Advanced Warfare, when he was on his come-up playing for teams like Justice, DT, whatever it may be, I think he can be the new piece to build another championship squad. Can it be a dynasty remains to be seen, but I think he could be and probably is the key behind that happening. Now, I don't think this was an easy choice for Octane joining alongside OpTic Gaming. For a lot of people, it's a no-brainer, but leaving one of the most consistent teams in the game currently, leaving JCap, a historical leader, and probably one of the greatest leaders that Octane's had underneath, or really above him, essentially, when we talk about like a figure as far as, you know, a veteran, leaving John, who's one of the best SMGs in the game and making a testament for probably being one of the, probably the best in the game right now, and leaving his 3-year teammate in Slacked, who have been teaming since MLG World Finals 2015. It wasn't easy for this guy to leave. But in the announcement, when he obviously sits down with Methodz and they start to kind of break down the reason for the change and whatnot, he says, and an opportunity like this very rarely ever rolls around. And I think Octane overall has been the best AR in this game regarding consistency as a teammate, especially how he plays the role, because he plays a very refined AR role. I've never seen someone like Octane play this AR role the way that he does. He doesn't make mistakes. And like as far as his AR role, he doesn't make mistakes. He can obviously lose gunfights, but he ADSs when he needs to. He reloads when he knows he's clear to. He plays the AR role fundamentally perfect. He knows what to be or where to be at all times, always. That's the reason why he sees so much success, at least in my opinion. But I remember hearing in the green room at a tournament, I think it was like Methodz who came in and was talking, and he was saying that like Octane was mentioning to him and kind of talking, and they were saying that he was so dialed in and confident that in one match he didn't even say one word to his teammates, and he casually dropped like 40 kills while going like double positive. And it was just like, okay, like this guy actually can do that. He doesn't even need to communicate. He's just that good at the game, so dialed in that he obviously has the talent to really lead and to be a part of a future dynasty, if not a future contender for championships to come. But I'm very happy to see the new OpTic Gaming squad moving forward. I'm very interested to see OpTic versus Formal, and even Octane versus Formal / LG as well. And I think this, like I said, this is exactly what the Call of Duty scene needed. We needed a change-up. We needed a switch, and it had to happen with Formal, the guy who absolutely wants to take down OpTic Gaming. It's fun while he was with the team. Obviously, you can reflect on the great times, but now it's on to the future. Those are memories now. That's the past. That's the history. And now, obviously, is the present. And the next chapter for Call of Duty Esports, ladies and gentlemen, it's here.